Hey, beautiful ladies, whoever gets a chance to come and check this out later. I hope that this video actually blesses you. And you know what? I'm just going to let it be whatever it's going to be. And I can't even honestly say that I know exactly what I'm going to talk about. I'm literally just going to kind of flush it out here and let it become whatever it's going to become. But I got a lot of things on my mind, and so I am going to change up things a little bit. September the 1st is when I was supposed to be allowing any and everybody to go ahead and come and join us in this beautiful atmosphere. And I'm going to still kind of take my time and funnel people in and let them come in slowly. And so, I'm feeling some kind of way, and I would be lying if I said anything different. If I said anything, sorry about that. I thought I had muted it. And the reason why I'm feeling some kind of way is because I basically have gotten my feelings hurt quite a few times over the last 2 months by people that I really respect in the world. And I know that we're imperfect people. We're going to make mistakes. I know that I've made plenty of them. I do my best to resolve them when I know and recognize that I'm at fault, or if someone brings it to me so that we can have some conversations about it. But, being in this industry, just being an entrepreneur, period, it really allows you to see where the maturity levels, the emotional levels of many people are. And unfortunately, it is not always a pretty picture. I remember when I first started soliciting people for the Real Women Don't Bitch Summit, I actually had a conversation with someone I really, really love and respect. And we were kind of having a rough convo about her segment for the summit. And I'm like, what in the world's going on? And she's kind of feeling weird too. And I was like, well, why don't you just sit on it? You know what I'm saying? For a second. And, ultimately, I pretty much felt that she wasn't going to move forward. But the whole point was to sit on the weirdness and then come back to it and address that issue. And so when we did finally talk, we had this really extensive conversation, right? And then some things were said. And as we're talking, some of those other things, you know how people do stuff and you'd be like, I just let it pass, you know what I'm saying? I'll let it go. So the other things it came out of even me, and she's like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know you took that way, or you were feeling that way." And by the time we got through, our the end of our conversation was, "It's good to know when you have a real friend, and when you can talk about these things and then move on." Because at the end of the conversation, it really was more of a woosah. It was a, "Hey, we saw things one way, we discussed it, we got over it, yay, keep it moving." And that's what it is. Sorry, I got distracted because I heard the little notification thing go off on my computer. But anyway, those are rare circumstances, and to have a relationship where somebody really loves you and you love them enough to have the crucial conversations to make sure that you stay connected, that doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen very readily. And so, I mean, I've had women that have been in dire straits that I've given free coaching to, that I've done all kinds of things for. And then whatever reason that they have, they just, fall off the face of the earth. Weird stuff happens. Like if they're in your group, you see their name grayed out, or all of a sudden, you notice you don't see, their posts anymore, and you go to find them and you realize you're not friends anymore and stuff like that. And you just kind of sitting there wondering like, well, what the fuck did I do? Because the only thing that you remember was everything was okay. And so, doing what I do, everybody isn't in the same situation. I'm basically just connecting with you all and just, saying what's on my mind and how I'm feeling, but doing what I'm doing and being so vested in so many women emotionally, because I deal with a lot of the tears, the crying, the insecurity, the mindset, the doubt, the lack of belief, and carrying those women, it hurts your feelings in the end when they're gone. And, I had a conversation with a gentleman who was like, August, you're taking stuff too personally and so on and so forth. And you know what? At the beginning of the year, for those of you all that know me, that I had this conversation with, that was one of the things that God was talking to me about. He was like, don't take things personal. And so I had a lot of shit that was coming at me. And I was like, oh, betrayal over here, this over there, this looks like that. And I was, taking them darts and, as the Bible would say, my sword and my shield, quenching the fiery darts. And I kept on going. And then now all of a sudden, within like the last 2 weeks, when I say the fire has turned up, it has turned up significantly. And so it's one thing to say what you're going to do, and it's another thing to actually do it. And so to look at the gifts that you have to bring to the world and say to yourself, you know what, I am gonna just do my service, and realize that most people are in a position where, and this is not about putting me on a pedestal, but I'm just talking about there's just a rare breed of individuals that are mature enough to stay in the entrepreneurial game, that are mature enough to have the hard conversations, that are mature enough to actually address issues. And knowing that that's what the situation is, I have to take solace in that and say, okay, lean into that prayer. God, please grant me the peace, the serenity to, accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so everybody in your journey, you'll have something just like this that will discourage you from wanting to move forward, but we continue to move forward nonetheless. And so I just wanted to come in here and tell you that. And so I've only talked to one of you guys, and I keep saying this on every video. I think I'm just going to have to personally reach out to you all and say, okay, give me some feedback. What do you think before I actually open up the floodgates? A couple of people are going to be trickling in because of the book club, and a couple of people may begin to trickle in because I'm going to be doing other groups and letting people know to come over this way. But it is about time over these next few months to gradually bring people over here, and work my way away from the other social media platforms. So, just wanted to say thank you all to those of you that are here, those of you that have been supportive, those of you that have loved me through my good, bad, ugly, and indifferent, and accepted me and allowed God to work with me as well. So I'm out of here. Deuces.